This is Mountain Vision. Welcome to the Blue Devils Football Coaches Show. Your home for all things Manchester High School football. With head coach Evan Huckstetler and your host, J.J. Hush.
Hello and welcome to the Manchester Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, J.J. Hush, with the head coach of the Manchester Blue Devils, Coach Evan Hochstetler. Coach, thank you again for your time this week.
Thank you.
So you guys, you go down to Heard County this weekend. Unfortunately, you come out with the loss. It was a hard-fought ball game, a close ball game in that first half. Unfortunately, they pulled away in the second half, but the guys definitely put in a good fight over there at Heard County this weekend.
Yeah, I thought our kids, they played 4 quarters this past Friday, and I'm watching film today, and we pointed out we belong on the same field as Heard County, and that says a lot because then again, they only been beaten one time in the region the last 3 years, but our kids went down there, they fought hard, which I think is a blessing. We were off routine last year with the fall break and not being in school, so our kids had a good week of practice, and they got on the bus and went to Heard County, and like I said, they fought for 4 quarters. We were in the ball game all the way up until probably about 2-3 minutes left in the game.
And that's something that really is you can walk away with as a positive. Say, you know what, maybe we didn't have everything go our way, but at least we put the effort forward to be in that position near the end.
Yes, and I was talking to somebody today. Heard County, for the better part of the decade, ever since Coach Barron's been in that program, they have played in big ball games. And last year they went to the quarterfinals, and the last 3 years they have played for the region championship and been in some big-time football games where the kids had to lay it on the line in pressure situations, and their kids were used to that Friday night. There's sometimes their kids fought through the adversity and did their job, and sometimes our kids the fight was there, but the pressure sometimes in certain situations they did a better job than we did. But I was telling somebody next year and the year after, I think our kids realize that this is a program that we're going to compete for the region championship year in, year out, and that's what we're trying to do, and that's what we're doing this year. We're not out of the championship as far as the standings go. Heard County is in first place, but we're going to Bremen this coming weekend, and they're 2-0, and we'll hopefully put ourselves back in that position to be 1 or 2.
And you go to Bremen next week, but we'll get to that ball game a little bit later in the show. But definitely a good thing for the young guys that you have. A lot of young guys, sophomores, playing some big-time roles in your team. And for them to go through a game like this is going to be definitely beneficial down the road.
Oh, without a doubt. They realize, I mean, it may happen this coming weekend, but being in those top games as a sophomore and junior, when you play in them the next year, you're a step ahead because you've been there, done that, and it's nothing but another ball game. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to building the football program here at Manchester and competing for those region championships year in and year out.
So let's talk a little bit about the ball game. You guys, y'all on the opening possession, you guys took it down the field and scored. And I think that's probably one of your goals going into the ball game is saying, hey, let's go ahead and get to a fast start. It was a very good drive. You mixed in the pass very well in the run. Just talk a little bit about that first drive.
Well, Heard County won the toss, and they elected to defer the second half, so they kicked off to us. And, the foundation of offense was there. The first drive, we were running our jet, we ran our ISO, we ran a butt sweep, and we did all 3 of those pretty well the first drive, and we got into a 3rd and long close to the goal line, and we got in one of our spread situations where we had tight end, wing, and the flanker, and a split in with Preacher Man. Since last couple of weeks, we've been throwing heavily to Big Bell and Preacher on the outside. We put in a couple new plays this past week, and we just did a simple high-low. They had a cover 3, and we saw the safety in the middle field, and we were going high-low, and we had one route. Ferguson went underneath, and Little Bell ran the seam right down the middle of the hash mark, and the QB made a good read. The safety peeked out the low route and went with Ferguson, and so Brown threw the TD pass to Little Bell. It was a good play, good routes, good blocking, and a good pass. So all 11 players did their job on that play.
It seemed like you guys did drop into the spread a lot on third down and stuff like that. Was that just a game plan for Heard County, or was it an experiment somewhat, or was it something that you just saw with the defense?
Not really experiment. It's something that I try to take a little pressure from off a QB, and sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But a lot of wing T teams, they get in the old habit when it's third and long, they do the waggle, and a lot of teams pick up on that, and so we try to move our quarterback away from the line of scrimmage and give him a little bit more time and a little bit more visual aid where he can see the field a little bit better. That's something we're going to work into more. We're not quite that good at it right now, and that's just everything so new to us. But when Brown's a junior, when he's a senior, obviously we're going to have our foundation wing T, but we're going to do a lot of stuff in the gun with him, and we're still going to run the same plays, the jet and the butt sweep. But I was talking to one of my coaches today. Next year and the year after, Brown's probably going to do a lot more power read in the shotgun. We'll run the jet, and he'll read the defensive end. I know a lot of colleges and high school teams do that, but we're not ready for that yet. Next year we'll do that.
It seems like you guys you did a great job of completing passes down the field. It seemed like you guys were pretty successful, but also Heard County had a very good defensive line, was getting after the quarterback and putting a lot of pressure on him. How about Brown for being under pressure so much? He did a good job of completing those passes in those situations.
He did a good job this past Friday. I tell you, Heard County did an outstanding job putting pressure on our offensive line. Out of all the teams that we play year in, year out, Heard County's done the most with the defensive line. You know, most high school teams do not do the twist stunts, and they slant and they move around their defensive tackle. If they're not just going to be in a 3 technique, they'll be in a 3 or 2 and all the way in the 1, and sometimes they shade them to a 0. But they move around a lot on the front and by alignment and by what they do with the twist stunts and slants. So they put a lot of pressure on the offensive line, and that's why they've been successful.
We'll go back to the foundation of the run game, which is what you guys thrive yourselves upon. It seemed like you guys did a good job of racking up some yards and getting down the field. The red zone was a little bit of an issue in the second half, but you guys did move the ball on Heard County in that ball game.
Yeah, I thought offensively we were pretty good in between the 20 to 20, and that's a testimony to us getting better as a football team. Our kids are getting better. Right now, for some reason, we're hitting a brick wall. Once we get into the red zone, we probably need to turn the red zone into our green zone and start scoring some more. And we're going to work on that. There's some play calling that could be fixed and get some execution from our players, but we're going to put a couple things in or work to get better at what we're already doing. It seems like when we get down close, we're not able to run the butt sweep and the jets as successful, but we're going to work through that.
It seemed like you guys did a great job of, when Heard County would go out there in the first half and score, you guys came back on offense and responded pretty quickly, including a big touchdown run by Little Bell on a sweep that really did a good job for you guys to get y'all back tied up in that ball game.
And again, all 11 guys did their job on that play. I pointed that out in film. We had a pretty good block by our halfback. That was Gamble. Made a good block on Tim Barron's boy, number 23, and it was a physical block. They both went after each other, and our right tackle made a good block, and Little Bell took the handoff on the jet, and we teach the spoon where when he takes it from the QB, he puts a little spoon in it, and he did that, and he got around the block, and he got to the sidelines, did a good job. He probably could have gone out of bounds about 25 yards into the play, but he cut back. He had some good vision and cut back across the field, and like I said, all 11 kids on that play made their play. Even our backside guard, Jimmy Lee, he was downfield 30 yards blocking. So the buy-in is there. They're doing their job. We just got to be more consistent, play in, play out, drive in and drive out. But that's a really good play. In film today, I was able to point out a lot of good things on that play.
And not only that play, it just seemed like Little Bell in general was having a good day running the football, and that was a testament to the offensive line opening up holes. But it seems like that he's week after week he's showing improvements in his vision up the field and picking out better holes.
He's getting more comfortable in our tracks. He's becoming a better blocker, and it's also Gamble. I know when Little Bell gets the ball, a lot of people see Little Bell running the ball, but they don't see some of the little stuff. I'll tell you what, last couple of weeks on the butt sweep and jet, Gamble has become a pretty good blocker. He's getting better each week blocking those two plays, and now he has to improve on blocking for ISO. But I mean, that's improvement. And that's the little things the coaches see, the players see it, because we do point out in film. I was bragging on Gamble about his blocks this past Friday night, and we keep improving. Like I said, he's blocking good on buck and jet. Now he's got to start blocking good on ISO to be a complete back. But back to your point, Little Bell, he's learning the offense. He's running his tracks. He's benefiting from his teammates making the blocks. But Little Bell's a smart guy, and the thing about it, he's a sophomore, so he's only going to get better.
And it seems like, that offense, like you said, for certain guys, they could be blocking on one play, but it's a give and take. They're going to have an opportunity to run the ball. And Gamble, late in that ball game, did have a touchdown, a big long run that he had in that ball game as well.
Yes, he turned on the Jets on that play. Number 24 for Heard County, their starting free safety, had a decent angle on him, but Gamble gets ran by him. And again, that's Gamble doing his job. Gamble had a pretty good game.
We'll be back with more with Coach Hochstetler on the Manchester Football Coaches Show.
Time for a new mattress? Wilson's Fine Furniture in Manchester has a great selection. From twin size to king size, Wilson's has it. In fact, Wilson's Fine Furniture is your hometown mattress outlet with name brands like Sealy, Simmons, Serta, and more, all at competitive prices. Wilson's also carries a full line of living room sets from Ashley Furniture. Save big now with 30% off all in-stock living room sets. Pay cash and save even more. And don't forget appliances, your hometown mattress outlet. Wilson's Fine Furniture, Main Street in Manchester.
Here at Sun Fashions, we have a variety of all your needs, from half wigs to whole wigs, from lace front wigs to ponytails. We also carry your beauty supply needs. We have your latest fashion in jewelry, handbags, clothes, and shoes. So whenever you're in town and you want to shop around, make it your passion to come to Sun Fashion.
Manchester Farm, Garden, and Hardware is your fall headquarters. Carhartt Clothing, the right gear for any job in comfort. Available for men, women, and children. Fall flowers and cool weather vegetables, along with an array of home decor for fall and the upcoming holiday season. Fall also means hunting season, rifles, handguns, and more to make sure you're ready to bring down the big one. Don't forget the great selection of Georgia boots. It's all at Manchester Farm, Garden, and Hardware.
Welcome back to the Manchester Football Coaches Show. So, Coach, the offense did their part in doing it. They struggled a little bit, but did put points on the board. Talk a little bit about your defense. They had a big task this week going up against Heard County's offense.
Yes, Heard County, they have had one of the better offenses in the state of Georgia the last several years. It always seems like they have that one big-time player, either if it's a running back or a receiver. I know within the last decade, they had a running back to sign with the University of Michigan. They had one to sign with University of Georgia. They have a receiver that played for them for 3 years that played his final year at Sandy Creek that's starting for Louisville right now. And they have the running back they had the last 4 years. He's had a junior college in Kansas. But they have had some big-time offensive weapons, and they still have one. They have a sophomore quarterback. He was offered by Mississippi State this past 2 Sundays ago. And I think for the most part, our defense did have their hands full with a very good offense, a good offensive scheme, a good offensive line, a very good play caller, and Coach Kerbo. And it's one of those things we need to be more consistent, down in and down out. We pointed out on film, there's one drive, I think we did it several times, where we'd give up 6-7 yards on first down, then we'll make 2 really good plays back to back, and we just can't get off the field because of that one play. They make 2 really good plays and not make a play on one play. So that's one of the things, just being consistent and doing your job every play.
And that's the key too, because I think we see every week in the college ranks, offenses that when they go down the field, it gives the defense a rest, and when the defense goes out there and gets off the field, it gives them a rest to come back and do the same job every time to keep those bring your best out on the field for you.
Yes, these consistent factors, And Hurd County had a lot to do with it. I know there are several times we had our secondary were in pretty good position next to receivers, but the QBs, he's at another level. He didn't throw the ball behind or didn't throw too soft the ball. He's putting it where it needed to be. I thought that for the most part, our secondary played a good game. I know Preacher had an interception right before halftime that was called pass interference. I wish we had that one back. I thought he was making a play on the ball. I thought he made a good play, but unfortunately the referee didn't see it the same as we saw. But other than that, the secondary played fairly well.
And it seemed like that you guys did get a little pressure on the quarterback sometimes and force him out of the pocket. Now, he is a young man that can run and throw at the same time, but it seemed like that once you got him out of the pocket, we almost had a couple interceptions there.
Yes.
They was throwing when you got him outside the pocket.
Coach Turner does an outstanding job. He puts on certain stunt packages down the distance and formation, and like you said, we were able to flush him out of the pocket. But then again, he does a good job separating himself from the pressure and throwing pretty good balls.
Now, they did try to base their offense on the running game to get them going on that first down, like you said, to get that 6-7 yards of pop. They had a pretty good running back in the backfield this week.
Yes, Tim Barron's son, number 23, he does an outstanding job for them. He plays fullback, he plays tailback, he plays outside linebacker on defense, but he's a very good high school football player, and several times they did hurt us on the fullback trap. I know our tackles, it's one of those things where they do their jobs 4 or 5 plays in a row, all of a sudden they get upfield and get trapped. So again, both our tackles are 2 sophomores, and they sometimes they play like they're juniors and seniors, but sometimes they do play like sophomores. But on the bright side, they're getting better, and I pointed that out to number 75, Jackson, and told him he's getting better each play, but we just got to be more consistent. Instead of making a play 3 out of 5, we got to make it 4 out of 5 or 5 out of 5.
It seemed like the guys did a good job. Once they did, there was one drive in particular there. I think it was over there near the end of the first half, where you guys went in and went 3 and out on those guys. And it was big plays by Brown and Ferguson coming up and flushing them out of the pocket and making them either throw it away or putting them on the turf. It seemed like those guys were really getting after it, Ferguson and Brown.
Ferguson and Brown, they're playing pretty good in space. They're getting better each week. They love to fly to the football. They love contact. They like to hit, and they're good team players. They're good teammates, and they're doing a really good job.
What would you say would be overall what you need to improve on in the coming weeks for the defense? Because I know it was a big task playing against that offense, and what did you get from seeing that to improve on in the future?
Well, we got to be more consistent up front with our front 4, either be our tackles or defensive ends, and we got to have better play out of our outside linebackers. Sometimes they're waiting until the play comes to them instead of making the play, and for the most part, I don't understand that, because in practice, if we put our best on best, they give us fits because they're coming and attacking. I don't know if it's when the lights turn on Friday night. In certain situations, they don't do as well. But then again, put them in other situations, they do an outstanding job. So I hate to use the word again, just being more consistent in the front 4 and our outside linebackers.
So talk a little bit about the special teams. It seemed like, on the kickoffs and stuff, they kept people at bay. Of course, there was a muff punt in that ball game. But what would you like to see about your special teams, and talk about a little bit about improvements to be made on that?
We were 2 for 2 on point after touchdowns. Our kicker Nuda, he did an outstanding job. And the snap was good, the hold was good, the blocking was good on the PATs. So we were 2 for 2. I thought our kickoff team played their best game, with the exception of one kickoff return. We kick off to them the first play in the second half. They returned it for a touchdown, but it was, fortunately for us, it was called back, and rightfully so. They do a pretty good job tackling on kickoff when they make their blocks.
We'll be back with more with Coach Hochstetler on the Manchester Football Coaches Show.
Manchester Farm, Garden, and Hardware is your fall headquarters. Carhartt Clothing, the right gear for any job in comfort. Available for men, women, and children. Fall flowers and cool weather vegetables, along with an array of home decor for fall and the upcoming holiday season. Fall also means hunting season, rifles, handguns, and more to make sure you're ready to bring down the big one. Don't forget the great selection of Georgia boots. It's all at Manchester Farm, Garden, and Hardware.
Here at Sun Fashions, we have a variety of all your needs from half wigs to whole wigs, from lace front wigs to ponytails. We also carry your beauty supply needs. We have your latest fashion in jewelry, handbags, clothes, and shoes. So whenever you're in town and you want to shop around, make it your passion to come to Sun Fashion.
Time for a new mattress? Wilson's Fine Furniture in Manchester has a great selection. From twin size to king size, Wilson's has it. In fact, Wilson's Fine Furniture is your hometown mattress outlet with name brands like Sealy, Simmons, Serta, and more, all at competitive prices. Wilson's also carries a full line of living room sets from Ashley Furniture. Save big now with 30% off all in-stock living room sets. Pay cash and save even more. And don't forget appliances, your hometown mattress outlet. Wilson's Fine Furniture, Main Street in Manchester.
Welcome back to the Manchester Football Coaches Show. So, Coach, that game is behind you guys now. You're 1-1 in the region. Still a lot of football left to be played, as you said earlier, with the region standings. And Bremen is one of those teams that's got off to a hot start in region play after defeating Chattahoochee County last week. They go to 2-0. What can we see from Bremen coming up this week? They get a good coaching staff over there.
Looking on film, I see a lot of new stuff on film, and I was almost disappointed because I'm used to Bremen doing this for the last 10, 15 years. I can't remember the last time they were in the odd front. They've always been either a 4-3 team or a 4-4 team, and this year they went to a 3-5 team, and it's been since the 90s when I was playing quarterback. They were a 50 team back in the 90s, so it's just unique seeing a team that I have seen on film every year for the past 27 years, make it 28 now. They've been either a 50 or even front with a 4-3 or 4-4, but now they're a 3-5. Seems like every defensive coordinator in the state of Georgia is trying to go to a 3-5, and so we have our hands full. It's a defensive system that is geared to stop the wing T, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Talk a little bit about what we can expect from their offense coming into the ball game. They didn't score a lot of points last week. They were in a 7-6 contest, but they still got some guys that can go score out there.
Yes, offensively, they're going to pound the football. They're going to eat the clock. They have a really good quarterback that manages the game very well. He throws the football. They do try to stretch the field vertically and throw the ball in the flats, but I have not seen the quarterback to put Bremen in a bad situation. So he's doing a really good job managing the game and making sure the playmakers get the ball. I'll tell you what, probably 8 out of 10 snaps, they're going to be in two tights with a wing back and a I formation, or they may move the fullback over behind the tackle and just have a power formation. But they're going to be really physical up front. They're going to be physical with their run game, and they're going to stretch the field vertically with the passing game. It's a good system. Coach Hodges and the Bremen coaching staff have always done an outstanding job offensively. I know for years they were, I call it the beer bone, the beer bone, because they did some beer stuff out of it, but it almost looked like a wishbone or a broken bone. But they've gotten away from that a little bit. They don't quite have the fullback they have had in years past, and that they used to tailback more. But it's still the name brand of Bremen football and Bremen's offensive style is a physical style. Their offensive line, that they probably do not get higher than its table right here. They're gonna it's not. They don't really bear crawl. They just stay really low and they fire off the ball. They attack you. It's a good system.
And at the defensive front that you got, after playing Heard County, that's going to be a definite test coming up to guys that the pad level is low, and it's going to be hard to stop that momentum. So the guys have got to test this week.
Yes, our pad level has to stay low. If we're peaking up, if we're up just a little bit, they will embarrass us pretty quickly, because they come off the ball and their pad, like I said, their pad level's amazing. If we weren't such big rivalries back home, and I was at Bowden, I I probably would have called them up and asked them exactly what they did to teach the pad level. But they have always done an outstanding job with the offensive line.
And like we say every week, defenses, that you see a bunch of different defenses coming in. You mentioned they run the 3-5 now. What challenges do you face going in and seeing a 3-5 defense rather than a 4-4 or 4-3?
For the 3-5, first thing as a play caller, I noticed that they have the center cover up, and that sometimes it presents a challenge. It just depends how physical the nose man is and how hungry or how determined our center is. If our center can maintain his block or just get a tie one-on-one, all we need is a tie, then we're okay. But if the center starts getting whooped or the nose man starts doing his job, then we have a game plan where we have to chip with regard to the nose man. And I do not like the ways of blocking the nose. But that's the first challenge. Can we block the nose, or is the nose going to give us trouble? So we have to answer that. Well, we try to answer it in the film room. We try to answer it throughout the week, but you really do not know until about 8 minutes into the game if we're going to be able to block one-on-one and have to double team the nose. The second challenge is the movement of the backers. Instead of 3 backers or 2 backers in the 50, they really have 5 linebackers. So there's more movement involved in the 3-5. So when the offensive line goes up to the line of scrimmage, they make the calls, and right before the snap, there's a lot of movement. The backers either come in their line, they're slanting. So we have to abide by our rules. It don't change. We do not need to be rattled by the movement. We just got to do our jobs. And sometimes the movement does rattle a 17, 16-year-old boy playing offensive line, but hopefully we've been in our system long enough to be confident in what we're trying to do.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people don't, fans and stuff like that watch a game will see something like that. It's like, why is it so difficult? Well, it's just when you have people switching and stuff, they don't get that sometimes your rules are always the same, but your options change and your assignments change.
They can change in a heartbeat. Use for a gap down backer, for example, the guy can be head up with you. He's not your guy to block because you're hard blocking in the gap or down in the backer. But all of a sudden the ball is snapped, he can move, he can slant into your gap. Now obviously you got to take him. Or it's a lot of stuff like that. So it's one of the things we just got to step our steps. I tell our backs to run in the tracks, but our offensive linemen, they have tracks too. They have to step correctly every play. Their pad level has to stay low, and they have to do their job.
And with a good nose man in that defense, that's something they have seen before. We talked about Charlton County. They didn't necessarily run a 3-5, but they had some good nose men and stuff like that.
Yeah, Charlton's had a pretty good nose man. I take that back. Had a really good nose man. Mitchell County had a good nose man, and we have faced several teams that have pretty good defensive tackles and nose man. And Bremen is no exception. They have a really good guy that they put there at nose man. He does an outstanding job for them.
So you guys, you go on the road. This is your first back-to-back road games of the season so far before you come back home to Greg Oglesby Field Memorial Stadium. How do you get prepared for another week going out to the road in Bremen and try to get a victory this weekend?
Well, I'm thankful we're in school this week because the kids are in a routine. We wake up in the morning, go to class. Most of our football players are in weight training, maybe 3 or 4 are not in weight training, so they're getting some type of workout during the day. Then we have practice, and then we send them home. So that's some people that may not seem like a lot, but it is a routine that our kids are used to. So we're back on the schedule, we're back on the routine that'll help us out. It is a 2-hour road trip, but we have to get on the bus, we have to take care of business, and hopefully we'll come back with a positive attitude, with a 2-1 record in region. But I'll be honest with you, Bremen's a very good football team. They can give us problems. They're going to go into the game expecting to win, and that's a compliment to what they have done in years past with that coaching staff and that program. They're a top-notch program. I have a lot of respect for Bremen, but we want to go in there and expect to win too, so hopefully we'll come on top.
7:30 and Bremen High School. Coach, good luck as you guys go out there and try to take care of business.
Thank you.
That's going to wrap up this edition of the Manchester Football Coaches Show. Make sure you tune in each week for the lowdown on all the Blue Devil football news.
Thank you for watching the Blue Devils Football Coaches Show. Brought to you by Manchester Farm, Garden, and Hardware and JT Signs. Join Coach Huck Stetler and your host JJ Hush next week as they continue to review and preview all the Blue Devils football games right here on Mountain Vision. This is Mountain Vision.